Before we get started, I have a quick favor. I've been self-funding the Finding Genius podcast for 5 years now. I've done over 3,000 episodes. And as you can see on YouTube, we're up over 1 million views on the channel, which is fantastic. The next thing I really want to push on is to get up to 10,000 subscribers. Because once we do, we'll be able to put a donate button and we'll be able to solicit donations to help keep the podcast running and to also get the Finding Genius Foundation moving along. We have a big project studying anxiety, depression, and PTSD and working on a product to help people overcome these problems because I've seen them explode recently after the last 2 years of the whole virus situation. So if you would, please subscribe to the podcast. That would help us tremendously. Give us a thumbs up and check in the description for Buy Me a Coffee. It's about $5. If you could buy me a coffee, I'd really appreciate it. It would help keep the channel going, and I love coffee. Thank you.
Forget frequently asked questions.
Common sense, common knowledge, or Google.
How about advice from a real genius? 95% of people in any profession are good enough to be qualified and licensed. 5%
Go above and beyond.
they become very good at what they do, but only
0.1%.
are real geniuses. Richard Jacobs has made it his life's mission to find them for you. He hunts down and interviews geniuses in every field: sleep science, cancer, stem cells, ketogenic diets, and more. Here come the geniuses. This is the Finding Genius Podcast
With Richard Jacobs.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Finding Genius podcast. My guest is named Braven Grant. He's the co-founder and CEO of Gains in Bulk. And that's the website too, gainsinbulk.com, GAINSINBULK.com. So welcome, Braven. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah, tell me, what's the premise of Gains in Bulk? It sounds like a muscle building protein powder company, at first glance.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an aggressive name, which is we've kind of adjusted over the years from what we started as exactly. So, we could dive back into that story, but we're a premium whole food supplement company focused on, the fitness side of supplements mostly. We have some health stuff, but mostly focused on fitness, helping people win in the gym, and so that they can ultimately, carry that into the rest of their lives and win in life as well. And so we're most known for a creatine product that we brought to the market called Instantized Creatine. It's kind of our flagship ingredient that's kind of given us a name, and then just being a quality third-party tested supplement company is kind of our focus, bringing products that people can really trust.
Yeah, what made you start the company? Like, what was your situation when you thought about starting?
Yeah. Well, I was young, so I was actually only 17 when we started the company, and to be honest, I would love to have the perfect, all this crazy stuff was happening, and so we started this company. In reality, it was two things. It was one, I wanted to be involved in the fitness industry. I loved it. I grew up around it. My dad is a very intelligent human being, worked with, a lot of NBA teams and Olympic athletes and stuff. And so I was around health and fitness all growing up, and I kind of wanted to just get into the space and kind of find a way to meet a lot of the influencers and people that I thought were pretty cool. And then as well, I started going to expos and the fitness events just to try and associate and meet those people, and found that a lot of the products were very synthetic. This was also back in 2015. So the industry was much more synthetic even then than it is now. And so I just felt like there was a big gap there and an opportunity. And because my dad had been in fitness and nutrition my whole life, me and my brother, we would kind of make our own supplements with just the bulk ingredients that my dad had available or would bring home. And that's kind of where the idea came from, was Gains in Bulk. We were just selling pure raw ingredients in bulk. And so it was kind of honestly more of a fun idea, something we just wanted to do, and that we thought, my naive 17-year-old brain thought, oh, we could figure this out, and that's how it started.
Well, that's the good thing about being young and ambitious. You don't even know how hard it is. You're like, yeah, let's just do it. But that gets you pretty far, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in the spirit of that, what were some of the initial challenges that knocked you up the side of the head that you had to overcome?
Yeah, so the original structure, the idea I had in my head as a 17-year-old kid was hey, what if we could sell these bulk ingredients directly to a consumer at like essentially wholesale pricing? Like if we could do enough volume, then, why have to have like all the middlemen and pieces and all that? We can just like cut the price all the way down to wholesale and give it directly to the consumer at that versus a retail store. I would say the biggest challenge with that was that I did not understand was the reason companies don't do that, I guess, is because there's so much cost involved in running a company beyond just the cost of the product. And I didn't understand that. I just thought, oh, the product costs, $10 to make and we sell for 15, there's $5, profit we can make, not understanding, hey, it's going to cost money to go to this expo or to like get in front of customers or spend money on advertising. And so while we still continue to try and keep really competitive pricing, that was probably the first hurdle we ran into was, okay, we started making sales and then it was like, okay, we're not making money or we're losing money. And then having to raise prices created a challenge of its own. And so anyway, that was, I think, the first big slap in the face when it came to starting the business.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, like a lot of people will look at the gross revenue of a company and think, oh, they're rich, they make millions. Well, if you have millions, of expenses and you only net a little bit, it doesn't really help you very much. And I've heard of some companies making tens or hundreds of millions and losing money. Yeah, right? We've all seen some of them losing billions.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy game.
Absolutely. And it's a very competitive space as well, like supplement space, the fitness space. And unfortunately that makes it expensive because, the influencers, they cost a lot, the retail space. So luckily we've done a good job of being able to stay direct to consumer, which has allowed us to keep our prices very competitive, even at the quality we have, but without having to, do as much of the markup stuff that happens once you're in retail and all that. So but it's a competitive space. So,
so what are some of the other challenges you faced? You said raising prices was hard. Kind of chuckled at that. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, consumers are not always friendly when you have to make price increases, things like that. And those early days, like we're talking like 2017, 2018. But I think some of the bigger challenges long term is we really started to like establish the brand, establish a company. It's okay, supply chain and managing, going from 2 to 3 people managing this thing to a team of 20, 25, 30 people plus now. Those are huge growth moments as a founder that, especially at a young age, I really struggled with. I would say even just like mentally challenged to like believe, okay, am I really someone who can be in charge of a team of other people or people older than me or like things like that? And so that was challenging personally. And then I would say, there was kind of a host of challenges in the last couple of years from a supply chain perspective, COVID and the import export side of things became extremely difficult and hard on our business. And so I would say those two pieces, hiring, growing a team and kind of like moving away from just it being a solo thing, as well as learning supply chain, dealing with supply chain difficulties and all that came with the COVID.
Right. Hey, you mentioned earlier that a lot of the people that produce products in the beginning, they just threw whatever kind of crap in there. If, people in the fitness world are interested in fitness and health, why would they not make good products with good materials? Why would they just throw anything in there? Is it just narcissism or greed? Do you think that drove a lot of them?
It's a good question. I would say that the fitness market, more than people would admit, is more concerned about the way someone looks, or people, the market, the consumer typically is more concerned about how they look than their health, unfortunately. And so oftentimes things like flavor are more important than quality, or, even sometimes just plain out getting a result is more important than, hey, is this product going to be long-term healthy for me? And so I think that's one side of it, is that the market doesn't necessarily have a desire or need as strongly for quality, healthy ingredients that cost more. A lot of times people are like, I'll just take the cheaper one, or I'll take the one that tastes better. But then the other side of it, I would say, kind of to what you were saying on the greedy side, like there is people talk about like the FDA doesn't regulate supplements. Well, the FDA does regulate them. They just regulate them as food. So it's not as strict as drugs, right? Like as like pharmaceuticals. But with that being said, there's kind of ways to avoid the FDA or get around them. And so some people will choose to profit off that. I actually had recently a buddy of mine who went to buy a company, a protein company. I won't use their name, but he loved the product, loved their flavor of their protein and all this. And the macros, or like the nutrition facts, said that the protein was 20 grams of protein and 4 carbs. Well, when he went in to buy the company, they did third-party testing on all the products to like make sure like they had all the formulas and all that, and came to find out that the product actually had 4 grams of protein and 20 grams of carbs.
Before we continue, I've been personally funding the Finding Genius podcast for 4.5 years now, which has led to 2,700 plus interviews of clinicians, researchers, scientists, CEOs, and other amazing people who are working to advance science and improve our lives and our world. Even though this podcast gets 100,000 plus downloads a month, we need your help to reach hundreds of thousands more worldwide. Please visit findinggeniuspodcast.com and click on Support Us. We have 3 levels of membership from $10 to $49 a month, including perks such as the ability to see ahead in our interview calendar and ask questions of upcoming guests, transcripts of podcasts you're interested in, the ability to request specific topics or guests, and more. Visit findinggeniuspodcast.com and click Support Us today. Now, back to the show.
That's an easy mistake. I was cross-eyed when I wrote that.
Yeah. So pretty much the difference between like a protein powder and a cake mix. And so that is, an example of a company having the greed or taking advantage of maybe there not being as heavy regulations on the supplement market. So that's some of the things that we've been committed to from the beginning is, hey, we want to find the consumer that is interested in a quality ingredient, that is interested in their health, that isn't willing to sacrifice that. And we're going to kind of take the extra steps necessary, even though we don't have to via, FDA regulations. But for the consumer, we're going to, third-party test every single batch of product that we create or that comes in to make sure what we're saying is in it, right? And so
you can test everything, but I guess you could test like one in each lot, or you could do like, fractional testing. You test once a week, or like, to what level can you test?
Yeah, so we'll test every lot, right? Like, so every batch that gets created, right? So we'll mix a new flavor, for example, like we'll take our Instantized Creatine, we'll mix a sour raspberry flavor or something. And from that mix, we'll take a couple samples from the mix and send that off to a third-party lab, and they'll test it, and they'll come back and right, that's the result for that lot. So it's every batch of product that gets made, and once a batch is made, it goes into, anyway, we're probably getting a little bit into the weeds of it, but goes into like a locked storage area that's essentially a quarantine to make sure that there's nothing else coming in and out that's not been tested, right? So that's kind of the process that we use, and that we actually publish the results so that every person who's getting their product, you can hop on our website and see, okay, my lot is this was the result of that test. Yeah.
Did that help consumer confidence a lot? Like what kind of feedback do you get on that?
Yeah. So I think it's been what's allowed us to just continue to build a strong, steady customer base. I wouldn't say it's like viral or, earth shattering. Like I said, the market, most consumers aren't thinking about that. They're not coming on our website and saying, I want to go in and I want to read the third-party testing and make sure that there's no trace metals in here or anything like that. But for the people who do care about that, like that's who I would say is our ideal customer and the person that we're trying to serve. It's absolutely allowed us to build trust with them, show them that we're serious and we care about the things they care about. And it's, I think, what's allowed us to weather some of the storms that have taken out other supplement companies over the last couple of years.
Hey, who are your customers? Are they power lifters? Are they bodybuilders? Like, who tends to buy your stuff and why?
Great question. I would say it's actually, by our name, I think people think we're more of a bodybuilder, powerlifting company, and we're actually going through a little bit of a name adjustment, brand adjustment right now because of that, because we just adjusted since the beginning of the company and understanding our customer better. But our customers really, I would say, someone who's more interested in fitness from a lifestyle perspective and really wanting to improve their health, improve their, they want to improve in the gym, their fitness, but they use fitness as a tool to improve their life outside the gym as well. So a lot of, moms, younger moms, dads, people who have a life outside of just working out. We do have bodybuilders and a lot of like athletes inside the community, but I would say our main demographic is someone who's more using fitness to enhance their lifestyle.
So these supplements, the goal is for people to put on pounds of muscle much faster, or what are the goals of the products?
Yeah, so Instantized Creatine, like I said, is our number one product. It has, a whole list of benefits. The main one is building muscle, right? That's the one that everyone knows it for, is building a muscle, but really lean muscle. So if you're wanting to build muscle and burn fat, if you're wanting to increase your strength, also for like an athlete, if you're wanting to be able to, perform longer, it's really great for that. So we have things when it comes to muscle building, but then we also have things that are just there for your overall performance of life. Like our kind of vision statement as a company is we help people win in the gym so they can win in life. And that's really, for me personally, why I go to the gym, why I love fitness is it's less about the gym as an end in itself, but really the gym as a means to an end, right? Like a means to serving the other areas of my life, like my family and my business and things like that. And so we have a whole host of products that are all whole food based. So whole food vitamins, whole food minerals, whole food nootropics, so across the board, whether you're trying to build muscle, burn fat, if you're just wanting to increase your health and longevity, we kind of have what you need. So
is there any way to do affordable testing at home? When you buy a product to test one of the pills in it, let's say, and see if it is what they say, or is that like a pipe dream?
I would say there's probably not a cheap or efficient way to do it like consistently, like to be like, okay, I'm going to test every single product I bring in. Like for example, for us to send it off to a third party lab and just get a simple test back, it's usually, it depends a little bit on what we're testing and how many things we're testing for, but like $300 to $600. So that's a full proper test. And then we have what's called a spectrometer, which is like, I would say your at-home version, but that machine itself is a couple of $1,000. So it's not a cheap process, unfortunately. You could probably test for like one thing. Like you could say, okay, I'm going to get a heavy metals test or something like that and do that. But just to be able to test for such a wide range of things and toxins and potential impurities is, I don't know of a way at home. It'd be pretty difficult.
Okay. So what's the future of the company? What products are you working on now? New ones?
We're actually working on this year, kind of simplifying the process for consumers. That's something we've done a lot of talking with our customers, and people, they want to make sure that they can get everything they need without having to take 50 different things. And so there's that exists on the multivitamin side of things and the like just everyday health stuff, but it doesn't exist as much on the fitness side. I don't know if it's just for a profit perspective or what. And so that's something that we're looking to do more of this year is how can we make it simple where it's like you're going to get everything you need for your workout, everything you need for recovery, energy, all of that, and kind of reducing the product stack, I guess, you need. So doing some work on that, improving the ability for people to kind of get everything that they need, as well as in a lot of new flavor concepts. Like our main product, Instantized Creatine, we have about 10,000 subscribers monthly on that product. And so we're just trying to do things to give them a better experience, different flavor options and things that can help them switch it up and keep the habit. Because at the end of the day, a supplement's it's a small step inside of the whole picture of fitness. And so building the habit is the biggest factor. And so flavors and new options and things to really just help customers build and keep that habit.
Okay, very good. What's the best way for people to first try out the products? Where can they go?
Yeah, so you can just, they can go to gainsandbulk.com. We have like an offer that we run that's they go to go.gainsandbulk.com. So it's just like go.gainsandbulk.com. Or just like if you find us on social, you can find that link. And so we have like a starter pack offer where someone can, try the product out first time. We also have a really good guarantee, basically like hey, you can send us back the bag empty and we'll refund you. Rarely happens, but we want people to actually be able to try the product, see if it works for them, and have the time window they need, not just like 15 days and you're out of luck type of thing. So,
well, very good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having us on.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
You've been listening to the Finding Genius podcast with Richard Jacobs. If you like what you hear, be sure to review and subscribe to the Finding Genius podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And want to be smarter than everybody else? Become a premium member at findinggeniuspodcast.com. This podcast is for information only. No advice of any kind is being given. Any action you take or don't take as a result of listening is your sole responsibility. Consult professionals when advice is needed.